I released a 3-song EP a year ago, and in the time since, I have gotten 424,082 streams on those 3 songs in total. This was all part of my goal to get 1 million streams on my release in a year, so I obviously fell way short of that. If I was getting a grade, it would be like a 42%, which would be an F. But in spite of that, I feel okay about how things went. You can look at earlier videos to kind of track the progress along the way, but to settle with 424,000 streams, even if I was shooting for 1 million, still pretty cool to see all those people listening to the song. So in today's video, I want to break down exactly what I did over the last year to get those results and tell you what worked, what I focused on, and also what I have some regrets about. So with that said, stick around and we'll switch over to the old computer screen and break it all down. Okay, so here we are in my nice little Canva presentation, and this is every single promo thing that I have done over the last 12 months to get those 424-something thousand streams. Submit Hub playlists, Submit Hub meta ads, daily dose of ads management, Symphony OS, automated ads, running my own ads to my own playlist that I built, IntelliGen, which is Gen's automated ads platform. I tried Gen's release strategy, did organic social content, just a little bit of social content. I briefly started a Substack and then shuttered the Substack. Did email newsletters to my own artist email list, built that email list with some ads, and ran ads directly to songs for streaming. So as best as I can remember and look at the money that I've spent over the last year, that is everything that I've done, and I spent about $10,000 doing all of that. But with that said, almost all of that spend has been on direct to song ads. So I've spent roughly $9,000 advertising my own music. Yeah, so that's like 90% of the spend. Even though I've done all this other stuff, if you sum everything up, this is really what I have done over the last year. I also want to mention that I have put together like a more detailed spreadsheet running through all of these tactics and the spend and the results for them. So if you want like a more line by line breakdown of the numbers and the results, I'll put that somewhere in the description below. So I'm not going to break down all of these other tactics in too much detail. I do have some videos on these different things on the channel already, and then I'm planning on doing a few review videos of these automated ad platforms in the near future. But for now, I want to show you my results in Ads Manager first, and then after that, Spotify. Okay, so here is my ad account. You can see for the date range selected, I've got the last year. So today's the 29th, and I have from August 29th, 2024, and here is everything that I've spent. So $8,876. Most of that, or I guess the biggest spend of that, and it is most of it, was on my song Everything on this main campaign here that has spent almost $5,000. The biggest spend was my first song that I put out, which I spent $1,600 on. I have also spent across my third song maybe like $700, $800. I also paid for ad management with my friend Ashwin. I have a video on that where we talked about it, but by far the most spend has been on my song Everything. So let's take a look at how that is doing at a high level. It's still active. First of all, you'll see both these campaigns are still active. 43 cents per result to tier 1 countries, 34 cents to tier 2 countries. This one has been active for far longer, and so like you can see, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. It's stayed relatively constant. It's maybe going up a little bit over the last month. I've been relatively lazy with it. I really haven't done too much other than just make the creative and launch it. So here are the 3 videos that I have. This one, if you're feeling overwhelmed with the world, the song is for you. This one is when I feel overwhelmed, I remember to look outside. I remember that God is good. That's a sunset from the San Juan Islands. And then this one is me awkwardly standing playing guitar with a lyric from the song on the screen. So those are the 3 videos. I did not really change them at all. And you can see in the breakdown over that time frame, by far the one that has performed the best is that video of me awkwardly standing. So probably what I should have done is filmed live performance videos, or at least lip sync videos or something where I could have like myself as an artist with those lyrics on the screen. I feel like those almost certainly would have done better than the image, but I was lazy. These are literally the only videos I've run for this in the last year, even though I've spent $4,700 on the song. So should have done better, but that is how things panned out, and by far that video of me just standing is what drove the most results. And then I also have this second campaign that I just started more recently, and it's set pretty consistently like 10 cents lower than the other one. So driving more per dollar than the other one, going to tier 2 countries. You can see my audience skews very heavily female and more on this younger side. So yeah, that's how things look in Ads Manager over the course of the year. On that song, I've had close to like 1,200 view contents. On this song, I've had nearly 12,000 conversions over to Spotify. On the first song I put out, I had almost 3,000, and on the third, I had almost 1,200, around 1,200. So by far, got the most people over for that song, Everything. And so with that said, let's click over and look at the release, how it's performed over the last 12 months on Spotify. Okay, so this is the release as a whole. That's 3 songs, and you can see 424,085 or 82, somewhere around that number. And you can see grew pretty consistently as I was releasing the songs and then kind of settled at this level. Now this jump is interesting. Over the last really month, I focused the spend back toward Everything and added in that tier 2 ad set, and we've really seen the numbers start to jump over the last really couple of weeks. So kind of wish I'd done that earlier, but hey, here we are. 3.4 streams per listener, a save rate that is just above 10%. Let's actually see what that is in the handy dandy calculator. So like a 13% save rate there. So decent engagement stats, not phenomenal, but decent. And that is where things are at overall. So pretty much the whole time I've been running ads just to different songs. So let's look at the songs themselves. And we'll go in reverse order for how many streams they have. So here's Haunted. Did a little bit of playlisting for this one. I think I used Omari record label IQ for this. 5,000 streams from that playlist, another 1,500 from this one. So some playlisting. Over the last 28 days, it's gotten about 25-26% of its streams from other listeners' playlists. I would guess that's roughly been pretty consistent over the life of the song. If we look over 12 months for the song, you can see when I was running ads to it pretty clearly. Ads, this is when I had Ashwin run ads to it, and then otherwise just disengaged, not a ton of people saving the song. And the streams have settled at a pretty consistent level over the last month or so. It's doing okay. This definitely was the lowest performing song out of the 3 that I did. It's also probably the most in a different genre. It's not like that different a genre, but it's maybe the most different out of the 3. Okay, next up we have The Kingdom is Close. This was the first song I put out on August 30th, so exactly a year ago. And over 12 months, it has gotten 182,000 streams. And you can see kind of the trajectory. You can see when I was running ads to it. I have run ads to it on and off. Currently, I'm actually running a bit of intelligent ads to it, so we will see how that goes. If we look at the playlist breakdown for this, over the last 12 months, 61,000 streams from radio, which is great. Discover Weekly getting another 9,000 something. And then it's been on my own playlists here, and it's been on a few other Christian playlists. So some playlisting, but not too much compared to the algorithmic traction that it's getting. So actually the biggest category right now for the last 28 days is algorithmic, which is nice. Like you can see the little Discover Weekly bump up there. It's been pretty good. Like this one's going to get to a couple 100,000 streams, and I've generally felt pretty good about it. And then the song with the most streams is the song Everything. Just crested 200,000 literally yesterday, and it has been the highest performing one in terms of the ad cost and in terms of the engagement. Closer to 2 streams per listener, about a 10% save rate, but it is getting a lot of algorithmic traction. People are streaming it, so like these are 2 good categories to get. And then a lot of radio plays. So the last 12 months, 30,000 radio streams, 13,000 Discover Weekly. If we look at the ads, probably turn them back on around here, I guess. And you can see they've kind of steadily climbed, especially as I added in that tier 2 ad set. And that has coincided with streams going up. So I'm interested to see if I leave this campaign on, which I don't know if I will or not. If I do, will this song just keep stair-stepping up and get to something where it is legitimately getting pushed? Currently, I think this is at a Spotify popularity score of like a 36. This has been definitely the most successful song overall. So that's what I did. I do have a few regrets about things that I did not do. My number 1 regret is that I didn't double down on the song Everything earlier. So I had these 3 songs, and I switched back and forth between different songs over the course of promotion. If I were doing this again, I would have a plan to more quickly identify which of the 3 songs was the strongest, and then pour all of my budget into that. Out of the $10,000 I spent on promotion, I spent about half on Everything. I wish I'd spent about 80% on Everything, because that is the way to maximize the total amount of streams, and I didn't really care about distributing them evenly across the profile. So I wish that I had done that. A second regret is that I wish I had included tier 2 countries earlier in my ads. I did this over the last month and it turned out to be very effective. I know that it's effective because I run these campaigns for artists all the time. Honestly, I just didn't get around to adding a tier 2 campaign until like the final month of this challenge. So that is a regret as well because it definitely improved the results when I did put it in there. And then my third regret, and honestly this kind of just underlies everything, is just being lazy with my promotion. This happened in a lot of ways. Obviously, life is busy. I was doing a lot of things this last year, promoting music for clients. I also moved across the country, and so there are reasons that things kind of slip. But initially, I told myself I was going to be very active with organic content, and I was pretty much not active at all. And then I really did not do a good job of testing creative for these ad campaigns. And I know that creative is the most important part of a successful ad campaign, and I just never got around to doing it. So I wish that I had just been more proactive and on the ball and not quite as lazy. But with that said, this is also probably realistic for a lot of artists. I know people struggle to make time for this stuff, so hopefully it just gives you, I don't know, maybe I'm just trying to talk myself into feeling better, but hopefully it gives you some encouragement that even if you are kind of lazy, you can still get results. And the last thing I wanted to say before I wrap this whole thing up is that I do think that the $10,000 in spend was worth it for me. So I can almost hear the comments already of people saying,
"Oh, you spent $10,000 and what'd you make? Like, not very much money."
Yes, not very much money is true. But the spend is worth it to me because I wasn't doing this to make money. I was doing it, A, to get my music heard, and I certainly got my music heard and got lots of positive feedback on it and some really meaningful messages from people who otherwise wouldn't have heard it. And B, I was also doing it for this channel, to be totally honest, and it was totally worth it for me to spend the time doing all these things, testing things on my own music, just so I could be sharing them with you guys. So I may be able to monetize some of the audience I've built down the road. I don't know if I will push into that or not. Whether I do or not, I do think this was worth it. It doesn't mean that spending any amount of money is worth it for you, but I would just say evaluate it on a case-by-case basis before just saying like it is or isn't worth it based on some direct streaming ROI. And that is the Million Streams Challenge. I failed, but I had fun doing it. And even though I failed, my whole catalog as a whole now has over 1 million streams. So at least there's that. Again, if you want to see my results broken down in more detail, what I spent on each thing, what the results were of that thing, line by line, I have that at the link below. And as always, wishing you good luck and encouragement as you make and market your own music. You've got this.